Okay, well, good morning, BTN members and guests. Glad to be here and thanks for the opportunity to present to you all today. My name is Andy Moore and name of my company is Moore Signings. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to give you a quick background on myself, quick one, tell you a little bit about my company, who my ideal customer is, and then how I can refer to the other members here. So here's a background. I am a California native, lived here almost my whole life, but I was definitely born here and again, lived here most of my life. I'm truly a Huntington Beach local. I'm a creature of habit because I have lived literally within 3 miles of the same location almost my entire life on this big rock we call planet Earth. So I haven't moved around that much. I did move out of state a couple of times, but majority. So I'm a local. I went to Arizona State University. I got my bachelor's there in business and marketing. A few years later, I went to night school, got an MBA at University of Phoenix while I was still working. And then most recently, for the past 11, almost 12 years, I worked for Epson. They're a global electronics company. They make everything from projectors, robots, printers, all that we'll see here in a second. I have been a part-time instructor at the higher education level for 20 years now. Last 12 have been at Golden West College over here. So again, Huntington Beach, just can't seem to get out of town. And I really enjoy that. It's amazing what you learn from the students. You learn so much from them. You think but you learn so much from them. So, and I teach some of the business and entrepreneur subjects over there. And then I started my company, Moore Signings, as a part-time business about 1.5 years ago. And I'll give you the 30-second story on that. So I was getting a home equity line about 2.5 years ago. Some guy older than me, not as many people that are older than me now. So some guy older than me shows up and we start going through the loan documents really quick, lickety split. And so I said, hey, how many of these you doing today? Oh, I got one more, it'll be about 4 today. You know, one question led to another. How much do you make? And all right, how many days a week do you do this? He goes, I do this 3 days a week and I golf 4. This guy's a genius. So I said, I might have a plan for when I retire from corporate America for my business. So one thing led to another. So Epson, what did I do there? I've been in what was called product management, which basically means you're a general manager for a product or a product line. So you're responsible for the customer experience, profitability, birth, death of a product, everything in between. Anything's wrong, it's your fault, you got to go fix it. So that's what we did. And our products that I was responsible for were for enterprise printing, and it's called packaging labels. So I can see here in Sharon & Son, some of the packages might have a label on them. If you bought a jar of hot sauce, that's where my mind's going right now, you'd see a beautiful label around that jar. And it's going to, have all of the artwork and design, a barcode label, nutrition table, all that kind of stuff. These printers were used in those kind of environments. So the nature of them was generally, you didn't have just one, you usually had a few. And some companies had many, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So enterprise level, big, complex, global. Literally, I was telling Ben the other day that, one of the customers we serviced, Hinkle. Hinkle makes Loctite and a whole bunch of other different types of products. So Hinkle would receive an order for one of their products. That PO would be sent to Germany. Germany would send the manufacturing batch order literally to South Carolina. South Carolina would start making the product, including printing the labels and packaging it, and palletizing it, and all that stuff. So all this is happening real time across continents. So things had to work. You cannot have any downtime because if you've got orders of thousands and thousands of dollars and they can't ship that day, somebody is going to start screaming. So things have to work, mission critical nature. So this is just an example here. So this is actually Epson's warehouse. Printers were also used in logistics. So Epson has a couple of warehouses. Biggest one is out in Indianapolis area. It's about 1 million square feet. And there we deployed about 70 different printers out there. So you can see here, there's many, many lanes of product. And again, at certain times of the day, those lanes are just running lickety split because orders have to ship. People are wondering, people like Best Buy, people like Amazon, all sorts of customers out there that needed their products and they had to ship next day. So FedEx was really our biggest partner in terms of logistics. We ran through applications, large applications like SAP, warehouse management systems, shipping management systems, FedEx shipping management systems. So again, you had to play, your products had to play nice with many different systems out there, complex architectures. And, like this time of year, Epson will be shipping millions of dollars of order, probably hours during the day because we're ramping up into the holidays. So everything had to work. You couldn't have a paper jam. You can't tell a customer, I can't ship your product because I can't put a label on it. Unacceptable. And then the other thing is they had to be remotely managed because believe it or not, IT managers walk around and they'll be able to log in with their phone and say, okay, I'm looking over here at this lane and it looks like we do have an error state. I need to put somebody over there to fix that, get that up and running. So they had to be remotely managed. So if you said, hey, wow, that's kind of interesting, Andy, that's great, but what kind of skills did you acquire that are transferable here to this group? I think 3 that came to mind. First one is resolving customer issues. I know in your businesses, everything runs perfectly. Nobody has a problem. There's never an issue. But if there was, that's one of the things that I have experience with is resolving customer issues because they pop up and you got to be able to take care of them. And they need to be done now and not later. So the urgency of resolving customer issues, collaborating with third parties. So frequently it's not just your product that is at stake or your situation, your permit. There are other stakeholders involved and you got to work with those other stakeholders to resolve issues to make it happen. And then the last one is managing and completing projects and small projects and large projects, making it happen. So those would probably be the 3 things you said, hey, what transferable skills do you bring to the table here at BTN? I'd say those would be the major ones. The one I didn't put on there, but it's equally important is I'm easy to get along with. You know how it is working with people that are not so easy to get along with. Makes resolving and completing projects a little more challenging. So what's more signings all about? Mobile notary, permit runner, and apostille agent. I'm going to tell you what those are here in a second. So in terms of a permit runner, at the end of the day, I pull permits for busy contractors. Yeah, they pull most of the permits themselves, but certain times of the month they get backed up. They need me to pull a permit or 2 or 3. Sometimes some customers say, look, we're going to do all the online stuff ourselves. We'll give you the over-the-counter. Just help us get these projects started. So pulling permits for busy contractors, working with their architects and engineers. The great thing that I'm already seeing about as a benefit to joining this group is now I have access to the same skill sets. And what I'm finding more and more is, yeah, they have theirs, but they also want to know, can I offload that on your team as well? So can you have people you can collaborate with? So already a big benefit that I've seen joining this group. One that came up a few weeks ago, coordinating with third-party certification. So HERS, the energy, already forgot what it's called here. It's home energy rating system. It's a Title 24 thing. I guess it's fairly new, but anyway, one of the contractors said, hey, can you help coordinate with a HER certification? Sure. Tell me what it is and where I can find it. I'll coordinate and I'll make it happen. So new things that happen out there. I'm putting up here just so you guys have, trying to make it a little more than just abstract. My base fee basically for a permit, like we would say a master permit, that'd be like $350. Working with a pool contractor right now, in some cases he may need an electrical or a plumbing sub permit underneath that. Then there would be an additional fee on top of that, but that would be my base fee, you know, for pulling a permit there. And then I've actually been certified through a training course. It's actually a company that's back there in Florida that does quite a bit of that. Mobile notary. So I'm all about convenience. Once again, in the case of permit running, convenience for the contractor. Mobile notary, I come to you. So whether it's wills and trusts, real estate documents, in some cases, even a hospital signing. Sometimes people have an important surgery. They might need a power of attorney or an advanced healthcare directive that has to be signed and notarized. I'm commissioned here in California as a notary. I've been background checked. So to be a loan signing agent, they always do a 7-year background check every year. So I'm background check. I'm insured. I got E&O and I got professional liability. Not true of all permit runners out there. And I've taken some of the major courses out there for mobile notary work. Okay. And here's this one that's very abstract. Takes a little while to get your head around this. This is called apostille. So what is that? Quick definition. An apostille is a French word meaning certification. It's a document which has been authenticated or legalized following the use of the document abroad. And the apostille is issued by the state secretary or secretary of state. So for instance, if you were buying or selling real estate in another country, we'll just use Mexico as an example, their next door. Very likely you are going to have some documents apostille. And what that's doing is it's showing the Mexican government that the proper official in the US, you know, either notarized it or authenticated it, what have you. So birth certificates, could be all sorts of other documents. It's beyond belief, all the documents that are out there. And these are some of the examples. Again, destination weddings, that's a pretty common one. Foreign bank accounts, so companies that might have a bank account in another country, you're going to need to more than likely have some documents authenticated just to have those bank accounts move money around. Resolving estate matters, real estate transactions. And then the other thing that I bring to the table is this is a one-stop shop. So it might be that, you know, you or a family member was born in another state, say maybe Delaware, for instance. You might have to have a document that's going to have to be notarized and then sent to a Delaware Secretary of State. I can help coordinate a remote online notarization for you with a notary in Delaware, for instance, and then make that process happen. So as an agent, I basically bring all the pieces together, whatever needs to happen to get those documents authenticated, whatever state it is, as I put there, I cover all 50 states. So even if that means remote online, and that's literally like a secure Zoom meeting where you and the notary on that side of the continent actually take care of a remote online notarization. So one-stop shop on that. And again, I've been certified with, that's probably the best training that's out there, this lady that's back in Philly. Who's my ideal customer? Busy contractors who need help pulling permits, you know, sometime during the month. General contractors, pool and spa contractors, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, roofing, driveways, solar, individuals and corporations who might need an apostille for some foreign documents. Escrow officers and title agents, those are really good customers for me. And estate planning attorneys, anybody that has touches wills and trusts. In that business, by the way, it's becoming more and more common for attorneys to say, I'm not going to invest in the marble granite conference room. I'm going to keep a really small office, and I'm going, not to speak for you, sir, but just saying there are others out there that are doing that and saying, okay, I'm going to remotely join the meeting. You're going to go to the client's home and you're going to sign the documents, and you're either going to flip open a PC and do a Zoom meeting and I'm going to explain the documents, or I'll just send you there and you can explain them and notarize them and take care of that for me. So it's becoming more and more common out there in the legal profession. So ideal customers. And then, hey, most importantly, how can I refer? So I can refer through contractor clients like this pool and spa gentleman, contractor that I'm working with right now. I can tell already he's getting overloaded and he's going to need some help, most likely with engineering and architectural drawing. That might be the first one. Clients needing architecture and engineering services, I just mentioned that. I attend several other networking events here in the county, of which the HB Chamber of Commerce is one, the Orange County Association of Realtors. So I go to several of their meetings, and then Pacific West Realtor Association. And those, they're not only realtors, they're escrow title people, et cetera. So a lot of them need contractors before they can close on an escrow. Okay. And then I am personally going to need contractor services. So I haven't even told Johnny yet. So Johnny, I am going to need that electrical panel that we talked about last week. So need to give you an order on that right now. So my own personal needs, of course, we have a kitchen remodel coming up that my wife has still been bugging me about, and several other things. So that's it in a nutshell. Any questions? Comments?
Yeah, I never heard of a apostee agent before. And is that for just, when you say foreign, I'm thinking international.
Yeah.
But is that also for state to state, like you said, from here to Vermont or?
No, you wouldn't need it for state to state.
Okay.
Yeah, you only need that for international.
Got it.
And people don't know they need them until they need them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's kind of like, hey, we're getting ready to have our destination wedding. Oh, did you know that you're going to need to have those documents? You're going to have some documents, probably a birth certificate, minimum apostille before you do your wedding. Whoa, what?
Right. But that would still count for, like, let's say if you had like a passport or something you had to do for like a Dutch embassy, even though it's over here in the United States, that would be qualified for the apostille or no?
Anything you're doing inside the country, no, but anything you're doing outside of the country, yes. And not to complicate things too much, but sometimes you have to go one step further depending on who the country is. You have to get an embassy legalization as well as a Secretary of State authentication. Just depends on if the country is a Hague country. Too down in the weeds, but just letting you know, some countries like China would require that extra step in authentication. They would require embassy legalization, but it doesn't matter. I can make it happen. That's what we do.
So are those, do they provide you the form, or you're able to go find the form through the Secretary of State, or how do you, what actually gets notarized?
Depends on the document. Like if it's a birth certificate, a vital statistics document, that doesn't get notarized because you never notarize vital statistic documents, birth certificates, death certificates, things like that. But it could be something for maybe a grant deed. There might be some kind of a grant deed at stake. And usually an attorney is going to tell you or guide you and just say, these are the things you're gonna need to make this transaction happen, including an apostille. I don't know if I said that right, but.
You did.
Yes. Yeah, so frequently the attorney is gonna probably guide you on that. So, yeah, kind of interesting, but there's, I don't know how many thousands of just destination weddings alone, but it goes way beyond destination weddings, even background checks and stuff like that. So,
I imagine purchases of land, people from here buying land in Mexico, vice versa, whatever, that's gotta
all
be
day
a
long,
lot.
all day long. So the California Secretary of State office, there's one in Sacramento, but there's also one in Los Angeles. So I'm actually kind of a courier. I go up there and I drop docs off there for people and stuff, but it's generally a 3-week journey. People don't realize that. They think, oh, I should be able to get this tomorrow. But there's a little bit of a lead time involved, you know, so. Any other questions or comments?
The last photo. how
Oh,
did
that's
you-
great.
Yeah.
Uh,
What do you play?
Any gigs in Huntington Beach?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that my parents, God bless them, gave me
Yeah,
a
hang on just a
guitar
second. I'm on a Zoom call. Let me.
when I was 10 years
mute it.
old.
Hang on.
And Creedence Clearwater at that time was like one of my favorite bands, I think, at the time. So yeah, 1970, got a guitar and an amp and some guitar lessons. And then it was just history from there. I did take a 15-year break because we were raising kids. So I stopped playing, but I had been in a band, you know, right about the time I was in college and everything. So I stopped for 15 years and then I said, all right, on this date, I think it was 2012, June of 2012, I am going to start taking guitar lessons again. On June of 2013, I am going to form a band. And now if you said, what advice would you have for people, you know, if they want to form a band, I would say, don't do that. Because you got to please 5 people, you know, but yeah, so we still play. And over the years, I've met some really talented people, and my secret weapon finally became meeting super talented kids that had graduated from, say, Orange County High School of the Arts or the Huntington Beach APA program, because they were like already, you know, a few stories higher in terms of skill sets, and they love to perform. They love. I'm like the guy from The Who, John Entwistle, in the back. I'm the old scared man in the back in the dark, just kind of doing my thing. These guys are up on tables and pubs and, you know, just having fun, and they're super talented. So, yeah, so I play guitar and keyboards, and our band is called the Ronnie George Band. It was named after my brother. And we play Huntington, Long Beach, Newport Beach, kind of all over the county. So it's fun. And I really enjoy it. So thanks everybody for giving me the time this morning.